Da, 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 da. And we're live. Beautiful. I got the right button here. Just a sec. We're going to be streaming perfectly. Well, I guess not perfectly. We'll be a bit on the ball. Just give me a second to set up. I've had this one on my mind for a while. Just going to tweet this out. Tesla battery day. Going broke. We're not really going to do that. Bug. Just check these notifications. So anyways, let's see who's in call or who's in stream. Hello, how you doing? Eighth Flame, Devil Kai. So there's an event coming up for how do I call it? Tuesday. In fact, I should probably check out and make sure what time that is. You guys might not know this. Tesla is this super crazy, insane stock that has really big swings. It goes up and down, which makes it easy to make money on, especially if you do this thing called contracts. It's where you put down so much amount of money, you get a percentage of 100 shares, and if you could sell them off at a profit before then, you win. You could sell them off at a loss, but if you don't do so before the time runs out, you lose the whole damn thing. I have gone up handsomely in the last week, and I'm prepared to show those numbers. But I figured I'd get to let's try and set this board here properly. Let's see, what time is Battery Day? If anyone's looking to jump on this one, if you already don't have a brokerage firm and you don't have contracts enabled, in all likelihood you will have missed the bus. Okay, so it's going to happen September 22nd. Let me just make sure. Today's the 20th. Yep, that's Tuesday. I need specifically what time. If they do specifically have the date. The event starts at 1:30 Pacific time. So let's look up Pacific time. That's very important, and I'll tell you why. 1:30 Pacific time. Let's see. So let's see if it's three. Why is it saying that right now? They seem to be 2 hours behind us. That's really important to know. So it's going to be 11 o'clock my time. So that means that the market will still be open. How do I put this? I'll start. This was a huge, giant shift for me, and I want to show some numbers here real quick. Let's see, I believe, checking my notes here, we're going to be looking at some videos while we're at it too. The path on the way to Battery Day started the 14th. Before then, Tesla as a stock had been just in open free fall. In fact, let me pull up a chart for that real quick. I'm going to be stupid and use Robinhood because I am dumb. Again, not giving legal advice. I'm not even really good at reading charts. I could just see that the numbers are up and down. I get a feel for it. But the thing I'm going to say is if anyone actually ran out and bought shares, you're doing it the wrong way, and I'll go into that in a minute. All right, Robinhood. You know what? I did it wrong. Tesla. Here we go. So, for example, the stock market is closed on the weekend. As you can see here, let me just make absolutely sure. Yep, that's showing on screen. I'll just make sure that my audio is coming through with all y'all. I'd hate to think I've been talking up a storm and nobody's noticed it. Stock probably. I could use one more person if you want to come along, Blake. Just say the word. I don't want to wish this evil on you. I'm certainly not going to try and talk you into doing it. You seem to have enough problems on your plate, but it'd be fun to bounce off of somebody right now. And I know the missus doesn't like stock, so. All right, I'll check back later. Let's see. Where the hell was I? For example, let's go to the 14th. The reason why I'm not showing the screen for this is that when you sign up for a TD Ameritrade, which is the company I used for this, the brokerage firm, so to speak, I'm just going to grab all the sales from the 14th that had been the first day. I did so many trades that day, they gave me a warning because I didn't wait for the money to settle. I kept trading after that day, so things must have turned out okay. So let's take a look here, shall we? There's 914. Let's see. I know there's some slips along the way here. And you can see that clearly Anthony was money was burning a hole in the pocket. I bought a put for like the first 2 days. I think I've only managed to make a put once on Wednesday. All that ever did was cost me money. I bought one at $12.95. I sold it for $12.39, which means I lost $60. I flipped this one off because I was so scared. I winded up buying them both ways, and I sold one off for $5 profit. That's really sad and pathetic. You could just see that things got started off, and based off of like the other things I did, I was like, oh, I'm only down like. The math in my head was like, oh, I'm down 15 based off of like other transactions, and I was like, way to go, Anthony. This is the easiest day in the world, and you're fucking it up. You're an idiot. So then I got back into it. I bought another one for $15.70, sold off for $16.49. So just eyeballing that's like what, $79. I did another one where I bought it for $15.70, sold it for that much, made another $20. I went up a little bit. That was the first day. And that was, let's keep an act on here. Let's see, the 14th. Just so I could show you. Yeah, let's go here. Bunk. You wouldn't think this would be hard because it just goes up that first day. How any moron could have possibly fucked this up and not made that the easiest day of profit is beyond any sane person, but that dip scared the shit out of me, probably right about there. Let me go back and look at the conversation. Where the hell are we? Live stream, there we are. Bub. I don't know stocks, but I can talk. I'm bored anyways. All right, you know what? I'll give you a call straight on Discord. Where is Mr. Diamond? It would be cool. I'd be fine with Blake just giving me a hard time. Let's see if I can find him. There he is. Bunk. Yo.
Is it working?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So the part that stuck with me, there was this dude. I think it's called Meet Kevin. I was watching it, had a suit on, looked really intelligent, and you've heard of the cult of Tesla, right? The people who believe in the electric car and all this crazy shit that's gonna happen, and they go like fanatically hard at it, like way more than any crazed video gamer or super fan could be.
The only people I hear talking in massive amounts of praise towards Tesla is like Jack Patillo, who is more interested in like Tesla's and SpaceX's and all that crap.
So here, I'll tell you what, I'll stream this here, just so you don't have to worry about that. Share screen.
He looks like a used car salesman.
Okay, you know what? I was being way too nice. So Apparently. So here, I think I've got this about right. I'm going to play for just a skosh here. I've got links down to his stuff before. This is a good hustle. I thought he was just magnificent at selling this.
Of how many cars and Cybertrucks Tesla could sell by 2024. I strongly believe in the number that I'm going to tell you, but let's think about it. Right now, Tesla is delivering somewhere around 500,000 cars per year, and Tesla expects to ramp this up to 1 million cars per year soon. And once they get their 4th Gigafactory online, Tesla could be selling 2 million cars by the time they get all.
And he just goes on and on. That's my whole point here. Is that he clearly he believes in it. He's fanatical about this. And he mentioned at one point in time in this video, which I just thought was complete bullshit at the time. This is the interesting part. He's like, oh, I have, I don't know if it was hundreds or thousands or some shit, but he said, I have this much Tesla. And I was like, bullshit. and I'm like, if that's the case, and then I'm like, I wonder, after the stock dipped, and oh, that was hellacious. After the stock dipped, I was like, God, I wonder how many people sent him a noose and, like, you know, emojis or whatever the hell. There'll be a video out there, and I found this one here called "I just lost $2 million on Tesla stock."
Now, don't get me wrong. I do like Tesla's electric car thing. I do think that more companies should either deviate towards hybrids or just fully electric.
Oh,
because it's good for the environment. But to put all your eggs in one basket is just bad business.
Oh yeah, he gets there, and I'm going to hit play on this one.
I got a big problem, man. It's just been eating away at me. It's just devastating me, and I almost feel like I haven't been myself lately. You know, I've got about 6.2 million, and I went on just this one stock with 6.2 million. It's not my whole portfolio, but it's like most of it. It's like 65% of it. And it was so stupid. I put it all onto one stock because I just believed everything I heard about.
No, I want you to understand this, Blake. When you're on Tesla, and I don't have any contracts right now, I don't know if I think he just bought just shares, which, long story short, if you have shares, there's always the hope that it'll come back. When you see something, when you see your purchase suddenly dip $300, $400, $500, and it's the first time, there's this level of sinking that you've never felt before in your life, and how fast that goes, and you're just sitting there screaming at your screen going, up, you fuck, go up. So yeah, when I fucking was up $5 on that share that took off, and it went up like $20-$40 that day. If I'd have just waited, I might have just goddamn waited. I don't even know how much money. Maybe $1,000, maybe $2,000, and I sold it for $5. And
see, that's why I could never do this kind of like stock trading, because as soon as it started to dip, I just like, nope, pulling out now, pulling out right the fuck now.
Well, there's two kinds of fear that I've kind of gotten acquainted with. That if you figure this out, and it's not, you shouldn't think about yours, you should think about other people's. Do you know what FOMA is?
No.
Fear of missing out. Basically, people who are dying to make a buck will pour into something because, oh, it's the next big thing. It's printing money. I have to pour in there. And the other one is fear of going broke. That's why you see these ridiculously up and down crazy ass swings on Tesla, because people will rip out and then fucking come back in. Case in point, the numbers I showed.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, when I lost as little as I did on that one, I felt so proud of myself. And I'm like, okay, let's calm the fuck down and let's start making some fucking money, because that was embarrassing. It generally boils down to patience. It boils down to waiting. On Friday, I managed to buy a dip, and it'd been like bouncing between like, you know, a certain number of dollars. And I was like, I am just going to make myself sick. And this is a little trick. You can set on TD Ameritrade, like by how much you want it to sell off at. You just do that, you walk away. And I went off to go to Walmart to buy some shoes. And by the time I came home, I made about $250. Now, I'll admit, I don't have a trading app on my phone, but I was spamming going over to Google as fast. Like, is it going up? Is it going up? Okay, I think it's sold. I'm not sure. You know what? I'm gonna buy these cheap ass $25 shoes. I'm gonna run home and it better be gone. Oh,
See, I think another or way to like alleviate those fears is just let's look at whatever is safe when it comes to investing. And like I don't watch that much Fox Business or fucking Mad Money or whatever, but I always hear everybody talking about certain stocks that are always considered to be safe money
well,
because they never dip too hard and they don't go into massive, they don't get inflated. It's super or high.
well. Here's the other thing I'll show you on this. So, for example, right here on screen, here's where, originally that day I think it got up to 500, but on the chart it only shows like 498. When it hits these peaks and plateaus, what inevitably happens is what any sane person would do, including Elon Musk, where he winded up getting rid of like his own personal thing to take his money and go home. People sell off. So if you can get up to some unrealistic thing on, like, if Monday or Tuesday rolls around and the stock is at $500, you buy a put and the money goes up as the stock goes down. It's, all you have to do is remind yourself, it's not about your nerve. Do I believe that literally all these people are going to hold together and as one watch this stock climb up, or there's just going to be just enough chicken shits to take their money and run like hell? That's all you need to believe in, that there's enough cowards who are going, fuck the rest of these people, I've made my money, I'm done. It was pretty crazy. Like, by midweek, I noticed, I got lucky during the stock split when they chopped up like a bigger thing into like smaller things. Almost the same thing happened Monday. Almost like a staircase climbing up. It was simple. It just goes up. You could have just bought it and forgot about it for the whole day. Tuesday, by the end of the day, there's a little bit of a pullback, and the rest of the days are like nutty, bouncing up and down and crazy. The other video I saw, which I wanted to include in this because it pissed me off, probably because it's too much common sense. This old guy said, someone called him up out of the blue and said, I mortgaged my house for $300,000. And do I think that Tesla would have been a good bet? Or a good investment? No, well, I have an answer to that. If you would have bought in immediately, either late night or at the beginning of that day, and the guy like crunched some numbers and I did the math and I was like, if you could have left it in there for like 5 minutes, you might have gone up 10,000 and just ripped it out. Just been a complete fucking coward and got in and got out. And his argument is it could have dropped immediately. And I was like, that's possible, but there's a couple things going against that. One, it's Monday. People like save up and they sell off all their crap on Friday. It's just, I don't know why. It's just the way they do it. It seems there have been days, and there's also like the things that usually drive the market are like hype trains, and that's what Tesla and Elon Musk are masters of. That's that cult following. When they hear some crazy shit in there, they pour in. You could easily look at the stock and just watch it. And if you've got a Monday where like either there's a stock split or Elon is promising some shit, there's a bunch of dopey dumpy assholes out there who'll be like, I'm gonna be there to the end. No, get your money and get the fuck out.
Right? Shit.
Yeah.
Now,
and that was the whole idea. This guy's like, if I would have put in my $200,000, like, it would have gone up. One, Tesla, he's like, what if it goes sideways? I was like, Tesla never goes sideways. Maybe for an hour. Which you feel the devil bite your ass when it does. You were saying?
now two things. One, I'm kind of surprised as from what you said that people will tend to sell more on Fridays. I would think like after they would sell more on Monday after the weekend, and then like whatever news is trickled in during and Saturday and Sunday, it would cause them to throw either pull their money or throw some more money in.
Well, yeah, I've tried that too. I guess you got a point there. It really depends on the person, but the stocks tend to be going down on Friday, and they tend to be going up on Monday. So yeah, it's a little weird. It was so hard. I know, looking back, you're like, why didn't you just hold through Monday into Tuesday? Because I was sitting there thinking, well, what if everybody's just a chicken shit and they take their money and go home after Monday? I would. See, you kind of wait, And I'm not going to give exact numbers because I don't want someone bootlegging, taking my idea and getting the fuck out before me. But let's say realistically, I already said like $500 a share. If it gets to 500, I would, hopefully if it's Tuesday, I would take a put, wait till the news hits. It might spike up and then it'll dip back down, and I'll just take my money and fucking leave. The worst case scenario for Monday is it winds up being too high. It winds up being like, here, I'll take a look. Where is it? Like, let's say it starts the day at 470, 480. Do I bet with the flow and hope I could squeeze $1 worth of a contract, which might add up to be $100, or I just wait? The worst case scenario is it winds up being high and it bounces back and forth between $1 and $2. Or it dips down, I decide to buy, and it keeps dipping, which, yeah, it could happen, but unlikely with all that hype. I would be very confused, but it wouldn't be impossible.
Now, speaking of hype and news and shit, it's you could probably tell me this right off the bat, but is Tesla stock ever influenced by what SpaceX does, since they're both owned by Elon Musk?
That's a good question. Fuck, I'm not familiar with that brand.
SpaceX is the ones that fire all the rockets out of Florida.
All right, we'll tell you what. Is that the actual name of the brand?
I think so, yes.
I'm not. Could you like try and look it up specifically, because I don't know the ticker.
Elon Musk SpaceX.
Yeah, sometimes Robinhood doesn't have it, and I'd have to look it up independently.
Oh no, I'm not saying that SpaceX has stock. I'm saying that I'm asking if anything Elon Musk does with SpaceX would affect Tesla, because they're both owned by him.
I don't necessarily think so. I don't know. I suppose if he was, I guess if someone prominent, for example, was being investigated for fraud, not saying that he is, that would potentially it would look poorly. There's a stock kind of like Tesla called Nikola, where they got accused when there seems to be some rather interesting alleged evidence of them rolling a truck downhill as opposed to it powering itself. I never got involved on the way on its climb, and I never got involved on its way down. The thing that was tricky about Tesla for me was going into this week, I took 4 puts in one day, and I cashed in on every last one. And I was like, so you just made a couple $100 going one way. It's a weird switch in your head to go, okay, you can't do that at all anymore. But it was so good to me. What if I bet against it and I get fucked and I can only blame myself?
Yeah, that's honestly how I felt back in 2016, and much like now, I was flat broke, but I was watching Niantic just go up and up and up after the release of Pokemon Go, and their stocks was through the fucking roof. So if I guarantee you, anybody who had invested the weekend before is a fucking millionaire now. Oh, and it makes me so upset that I didn't have anything to invest at that time.
Well, the only gaming company I can really even think of would be Hasbro, which has like Magic the Gathering, D&D. I could look that up real quick. It doesn't move that much, I don't think. Let me take a look. Oddly enough, it still has my old sell-off. Oh no, I'm not signed in. Yeah, I don't think that's all that different. 79, 81. You kind of want one that has enough distance. So, like, when it goes up and down, you can actually flip it. Otherwise, you're just squeezing $1 or $2 out of it. I was feeling my Wheaties the other day because they had a huge stock pullback. And I was like, oh, cool, Amazon's just fucking under $3,000. I'll buy it. And it kept dipping. And I was like, you know what? It's been over 3K this whole time. And it felt cool to go to work where I'm literally at an Amazon store. And the guy's like, I bought part of a share. And I was like, I have the whole thing. I did it last time, but and here's the funny thing: is I bought it at 3,300. It dipped down real fucking bad on me to like damn near 3,000. I'm in the hole. It finally goes up to 3,200. I was like, okay, I could eat $160. It just kept going up after I sold it, and I would have been completely clear if I would have just hung out the rest of the day.
God, that is the worst fucking feeling.
Yeah. I was like, God, you are an idiot. I'm praying like hell I don't do it again. But that'd be the other crazy thing, is to take a contract on that. But I don't know if I'd have the nerve of seeing something just go down, because, for example, here, I'll pull this up on screen. Since I'm not signed in, I'm not in danger of accidentally buying one. Trade options. Oh, it won't show me. The Amazon ones are, I think, like $6,000 or $9,000. They take into account how much flexibility there is in the stock. If it goes one day, you could definitely make a year's earnings, or you can lose a year's earnings, lickety split. Keeping in mind that stocks kind of do fucking run off of news. Not less so with Amazon, because they always seem to have really good news because they're doing fantastic. When things pull back, if they're overpriced, and it's hard to say, well, is Amazon overpriced? I don't know. It's really one of a kind, isn't it?
Yeah, going back to Hasbro, right? I'm honestly surprised that their shares are so low, considering how much toy news has been coming out from them. I'm like, they're releasing the next wave of their Power Rangers Lightning Collection. They're releasing more Transformers toys. You would think, with all that kind of those toy announcements, their stocks would be steadily climbing.
Well, there's another reason for that. Certain stocks, like Hasbro, for example, or Blizzard Entertainment, have a thing called dividends. They're basically, I wouldn't say a bribe, they're a bribe, to keep you from flipping the shares. You keep these for, like, let's say, Hasbro's quarterly. 4 times a year, we will pay you a certain amount of money for just holding on to it. I did that with Intel. I fucking, it's not a shit ton. It's certainly the dividends will be better than any interest you'll ever get at a bank. For like $2,000 on Intel, they threw me like $10, and then it spiked and I got the fuck out of there. I was like, okay, I'm good.
Smart.
Yeah. Obviously Amazon and things like of those nature tend not to have those. I think Blizzard is once a year. Disney actually has one, I think, once a year. They're
Speaking of Disney,
yeah,
with the news that Mulan is fucking tanking even in China, I'm gonna be surprised as if their stock doesn't just fucking plummet for a while.
They are taking a bit of a hit. Let me take a look. So, $2 down. Well, here's the other thing, though. It's not so much that the stock went down, because, like Tesla, once upon a time ago, Disney did a split well before I ever got the fuck in, I think. How do I put this? Keeping that in mind, there'll be people who have multiple shares. So if you had one share of Disney, you're like down $2, you'd be like, yeah. If you have 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, maybe it becomes $10, $20. If you're some big fat cat who has 100 shares, it's $100 down. it starts to add up. But then again, you could always go back and look and see, oh, it'll come back. My area of concern, you're a wrestling fan, right?
Yep.
During the first pullback, I was looking for my Huckleberry. I was looking for the right man for the job. And I was looking at this, and I was like, oh, a week ago, about a month ago, I found like $42. I got rid of like some of it. I felt pretty good. And I was like, it'll bounce back. I've been concerned because I started looking back even more, and maybe it isn't coming back. Like,
no.
Maybe it occurred to me, maybe I'll just have to bite that bullet. Is there anything specifically that you really saw in pro wrestling? Now, obviously, I'm an ex-pro wrestling fan. Is there something that you saw like, damn, this is going to turn it around? Or is it just, well, it's force of habit?
Considering all the news that I haven't seen and coming out of WWE, I've just been thinking, nope, this is a sinking ship.
Yeah, my dad actually had a really good suggestion. It felt like a no-brainer, and he's like, well, why don't you look up the pay-per-view events and see if that spikes the stock? I'm like, oh, fuck, that's really good. No. They don't do anything. There was one before the pandemic that kind of happened, and it looked like there was a little bit of a bump, and I'm like, that could have been coincidental. It was like a $1 or $2 shift. It is a shame. Like if we go back 2019, it's damn near more than twice what its value is now. Was that a really good year? Or?
I I don't know. Haven't been keeping that close of an eye on the East before the pandemic.
Okay, yeah, it definitely had been more of a freaking hot minute for me. I'm expecting. I know Miss Anthropony was thrilled to hear Netflix was tanking, and I was like, the problem with that being is that you'll find someone who's being an opportunist and like I can get it for cheap now, and I can flip it. I've already had my hand bit by Netflix well before that weird fucked up show came out, so I'm less inclined, especially since that show is like, or the the stock for Netflix is $400. So yeah,
Ouch.
yeah. I bought a contract before I really knew how to do one. In like seconds, I lost $100.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I don't like Netflix. And kiss my ass. Here's the real dirtbag thing of it. The guy who basically gives me stock advice, one of his friends is named Lou. He bought a put against the contract, and there's always a sick part of me going, well, if you're going to bet one way, I'm going to bet the other, so at least one of us win. I think he got out at the wrong time, just like I did. So there was definitely time for both of us to win, and it didn't happen. And it wasn't like I waited. Like I had a whole week, like an hour, like literally like within minutes it started to dip, so I panic sold.
wait, was it Rabbit or was it another investment friend?
Another investment friend, King Lou.
Okay.
Lou, what Rabbit will tell me is like, just see what Lou does. Is like, well, Lou holds on to like the last minute, trying to squeeze every last dime out of it. It'll be like, I'm up thousands of dollars and I lost all my money, and I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Fuck no.
I'm thrilled. Like if my trade makes me 100 or 200, I'm stoked. I fucking love that. Holy goddamn. Especially when it is expensive as they are. I'm only getting a fraction back of the money you're put up. Jesus. I was expecting to talk a lot more shit about Meet Kevin, but I feel like I was more than fair. I do like to sit there and listen to other people's insights. This guy here basically made a big point of, I can't do that because, one, if I was going to mortgage my house, I sure wouldn't tell my wife about it because she would flip the fuck out. And if it went sideways, that's going to be a long discussion. Later on, Kevin, or whatever his name is, basically winded up saying how he was buying down his, the fuck is it? It's called fucking, not a loan, but it's basically the same thing. Margin. I don't have it enabled on any of my brokerages. Basically, you can borrow just about the same amount of money as you have in the stock account. And I'm like, I'm not broke. I don't need to do that. And Kevin over there has got like millions of dollars, and he was like fucking decked out to the hilt. And here's the tricky thing about that shit. If things are going bad, the brokerage firm could just call in your debts and start selling off your shit to pay off your fucking what's it called, the pseudo loan, so to speak. And I'm like, no, that's retarded. I've certainly had all my ducks in the air, but there's kind of a difference. It's not exactly a craps table, like I showed you on Disney. You go down a couple of bucks per share. Theoretically, let's say a catastrophe happens, which in Disney's case, if Disney went down $10, that would be like the end of the world. You know what? Let's look up specifically. Let's look up the pandemic, because that was quite everybody that got hit about that time. 140 down to $85. Okay, that's a little bit worse.
Jesus.
Well, it didn't. I don't think it happened all in one day. Let's say the 20th. Yeah, over several days. So, unless you were just like, it'll snap back any minute now. Any minute now. Okay, please stop. I'll sell.
It's like the fucking Bitcoin meme of just those people just holding on for dear life as it keeps going down.
Well, you know the part that has me kind of concerned. The part of the economy that's doing good is like all the delivery services and shit, right?
Yeah, which Amazon also has its finger in that pie.
Yeah, but the people I know, and there's more than a fair share of them that do DoorDash. Naturally, we're all going to be excited when there's a cure. but those jobs aren't going to be as lucrative if everybody's able to go out, and that's a little concerning. Because a lot of the old jobs may not be there because there aren't a lot of places. A lot of those businesses did go under, so that's the real concern. I mean, obviously Amazon will be fine.
Yeah.
He has enough money to float that. Oh, here's the funny thing is I noticed this on Twitter where they're talking about we're donating shit tons of food. Well, yes, of course you are. None of your fucking stores are open. Ask me how I know. I'm security for one of them, and like they've like brought in food, like they are completely decked out, like, you know, the steaks and shit and alcohol wall to wall. Like there's just tons and tons of shit. Obviously, I'm not taking any pictures because they tell me not to, but I mean, they do donate a fairly big bulk. They used to give it away, but then people started walking out with more than they should have. So naturally, somebody had to fuck that up.
Unfortunate.
I never like got like a shit ton. I got like a box of scones once or whatever, and it's the first time I ever had one in my life, and I'm like, it's like a muffin and a cookie. So
Yeah, when my sister used to work at Starbucks, she would bring baked goods home all the time. I think she did bring scones home at some point.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. I've some of the advisors suggesting people get Starbucks right now for a stock. They're doing surprisingly good, I think. Let me take a look.
Really?
Yeah. Let's see. Obviously, there's a little bit of a pullback, but when I hacked mine off, I was up at 87, so that would have been around here. It could bounce back. What do you know about computers, for example?
The only thing I really know is that Dell sucks.
well, you're not wrong. Right. I thought it was embarrassing when I wind up going to the company. They're like, oh, we'll give you a 30% off of like a Dell computer. So I go to Dell's website, and I was like, this is still a shit deal. These are terrible. They were hyped up as if someone had the idea in mind that there might be someone with 30% off, and it's still bad. Go ahead.
That's why I'm so glad I've got my fucking an Omen. This thing is 2 years old and it still runs like a charm.
You're very fortunate. If I remember correctly, that's Packard Bell, right?
I think
HP, yeah. I used to have a Packard Bell laptop that died after fucking literally the warranty ran out, and a desktop that was
God.
Oh yeah, that used to have all proprietary hardware, which basically means what's in it is what works. You could replace the RAM, and you couldn't add anything to it. Nick Z, who used to do like brony creepypastas, he's like, no, you just need to get a new computer. You can't do anything with that. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And that's about the same time where Sheldon walked me through how to fucking, put a computer together. Well, for what to buy at Tiger Direct. And he had a meltdown over the phone about fucking the guy trying to sell me a water cooler. That had been 4 or 5 years ago. I'm assuming that they're a lot safer than they used to be? Question mark.
Yeah, if memory serves me correct, my bro Austin and just bought a couple parts for his new computer, and I think a water or cooling system was part of it. I'm not entirely sure. Memory is kind of shit.
What was it? I did think it was funny that one predator who had like the 17 victims and shit, one of his people was fucking with me either like Thursday or Friday, and he managed to distract me long enough to hold on to my stock to sell it at the right price, and I thanked him afterwards. And he's like, you're so immature. And I'm like, dude, do you even know what I'm doing right now? I mean, you're right, but you're wrong. I'm not saying that kids can't do what I'm doing, but really nobody should be doing what I'm doing. I saw this clip. I don't know. You've ever seen like the Batman video games, right?
Yes.
There's this little line in there where the Mad Hatter's going, he can't and he won't, he just goes away, and I'm sitting there chanting at that, looking at Tesla, waiting for it to go down. Oh, fuck.
Fucking predators.
Yeah, you know what, I might get to Monday. Maybe everything will be green and I won't have to make any crazy ass moves. That's what Rabbit's like, why are you doing contracts? Is like, because literally nothing else is making me money. every time I hang in there to make $1, it just slides right back. And I'm like, oh, fucking hell. I used to be able to wait like a little bit, like a week, and then it'd be like a $3-4 climb. And then just all the so-called blue chip stocks just aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, like Intel, AMD, Microsoft, PayPal. Even if they used to be, like, they'd dip and like 2-3 days later they'd spike back up again. And you'd be indignant for having to wait the 3 days. And then, like, some days they would do it again, like, later, and you're like, huh, I don't know what to do, because it's... where's the pullback? You were saying?
Nah, I just looked it up. Because I was looking for WWE's latest competitor, or AEW, to see if they were on the market yet.
No, I went to go look and see if AEW did have one. I was curious.
I would definitely keep an eye on them. I'm just like, as soon as they hit at the public market, they're going to fucking soar. I feel like, just because they treat their talent better. They are doing good numbers with their pay-per-views and their table ratings, and I definitely feel like they're one to look at and pray that they get on the market soon.
Yeah, I think they're privately traded, just like Steam and the UFC.
Damn it, Dave.
Yeah. What was it? I tried looking up what was it? Time Warner, the one that owns like the DC movies and shit, and I had trouble like finding their shares. They might be private too, I'm not sure. I probably just fucked it up myself. You're trying to find either something that's got like really good upward mobility. Well, it's pretty easy predictor. You could see that it's clearly crashing through the fucking floor. Like Tesla was that 1 week. God, that was such a whiplash having to switch over.
Well, right now it looks like Norton and the people who do the VPN and LifeLock are on the rise. Have you considered investing in them before they get too high?
Let me take a look. Norton. Oh, okay, that's there. Let me take a look here. Holy shit! Let me grab a screenshot of that. That is a rather intense upswing at the close. Let me see. Oh wait, it's on screen already. Let's see, how much is that? Oh, whole $1 at the very end of the day.
Now, just to cover my ass, if you buy shares in them and they suddenly plummet, that's going off what I had searched.
Well, no,
I'm not an expert.
No, I got that too, and I'm looking back. It's a tough market right now too, so that's a disclaimer right there. I'd preferably like to get it at a better time. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, fair enough. But at the same time, you don't want to wait and suddenly it just gets way too rich for your blood. You're like, damn.
You just described FOMO. Fear of missing out. There's a stock that Rabbit suggests called REML, and after I sold off my shares at 410 and then 420, lol.
What is it?
Yeah, completely honest. They spiked up 20 more cents, and he's like, just wait, when they hit $5, you'll never catch it again. And like, its old ceiling used to be $20 a share, and it was one of those dividend stocks, so it was going to be good all around just to hold on to. And I was just horrified, like, come on down. Here, let me sabotage it a little bit. let me buy and sell it, just try and short the stock so I can get it to come the fuck back down. Nothing was for doing it, and then eventually you have to remind yourself the as far as stocks go, real estate has been real shit.
Yeah, I hear from my sister all the time because she's a real estate agent, and she's just like, every time she gets on the phone, it's like, why is the this business have to be sinking right after or I have my first son? God damn it! And
it's sometimes it's just having patience, and I guess the only thing I was bummed out about WWE, I was just like, oh, this is such a safe bet. It's a hard reality wake up when you're like, oh, maybe not. Damn it, now I feel like a retard. I didn't think out in the long run.
Going back to Blaze It, haha, for a second. I heard from my mom that they're going in Illinois. They're going to be having like legal weed dispensaries and shit. And so, one, that's exciting for my parents, and two, I would recommend looking at whoever's going to be building and you're contracting the dispensaries and see if you can get in on their stocks.
Well, here's the other problem with that. I've watched a couple of videos, and surprisingly, I've looked at the stocks. The thing that's really in the way that makes a lot of those things concerned is that they're having trouble getting loans from the banks, because it's technically federally not okay. Like, they're not enforcing the laws, but the laws say that, no, you're not supposed to be doing that. So until that really changes and some of the tax things get cleared up and such, that's not going to take off, because a lot of the things to do it on the level are really still expensive. It's why I found out from like people like Brony that, sometimes it's just easier to still go through,
go through your friend around the corner.
Yes, basically your private distributor, if you will. He just had a birthday recently. I should have I forgot what fucking age he is.
He's a boomer.
Yeah, we're doing a show for him on fucking Monday, hopefully, unless something happens.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
I was just, well, my mom's not going to be happy about her being wrong about that, because this is kind of unfortunate, but I have to fucking move again. I'm moving to fucking Illinois. God damn it.
Oh, well, be neat to catch you. What time? What date?
We're moving closer to the Wisconsin border, or so like way up north. But we'll be moving around the end of October, start of November.
Oh, okay.
I'm hoping that my the company I work for, or which I'm on leave right now for a broken wrist, but I'm hoping that closer to that time I can find a warehouse near where I'm going to be living, and they'll allow me to transfer, because otherwise I'm going to be up Shit's Creek.
So I want to mention a thing here in the chat here. Aurora Fluttersilk, is that Therapy Rarity's friend? So let's say it's not. I'll give you the chance to deny it. Rouge pointed out Therapy Rarity was like sitting there saying there's certain people making fun of cuties. It's just them kink shaming. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't he just get done saying that he wasn't a pedophile? Like, how are you going? I thought you said you were into midgets or something. What the fuck? Those are kids in the movie.
Wasn't that the same excuse that Vita came up with?
I didn't hear about midgets for him. Jesus Christ.
There's this fucking gif that makes me laugh every single time that's on Twitter. There's this dude, this fat dude in a blazer, or in front of a whiteboard, or just writing shit down rapid fire. And it's like pedophiles trying to explain and why cuties is a deconstruction and not actually a child exploitation. It's just like, that's exactly what these motherfuckers are trying to do.
Look, on one hand, I understand that I haven't watched the movie, and I don't want to.
Good, don't. I haven't either, because I haven't started my Netflix free trial yet. I have to eventually, because I got shows I need to watch for my channel. But
do you like horror movies or horror shows or anything like that?
Oh God, I am a chicken shit. I can't handle gore outside of video games.
Well, never mind. I was going to recommend Petty Dreadful. Have you checked out She-Ra yet?
I have not.
Well, I highly recommend it.
All I know is that all the gays love it, and I say that as part of that crowd.
I remember catching the first clip or something like that, and I watched the first episode, and I was like, this kind of reminds me of Star Wars a little bit. Yeah, I'll take that. Just a
Now, are we
skosh.
talking George Lucas Star Wars or Disney Star Wars?
Here, I'll put it to you this way: if when people say, "Oh, SJWs ruined Star Wars," it's like, well, no, not necessarily. That could have worked. Look at She-Ra. That's I know that it's very inclusive, but I don't feel like it's like beating me over the head of it. Like if they have like characters who are like, in a same-sex relationship, there's not this big giant persecution about it. It's just they're there, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Now I know the counter
They don't
argument.
throw a massive fucking party every time and those characters are on screen.
No, they're like, well, it's not realistic. Well, it's also a fantasy. Doesn't everybody get to have one of those?
I don't like it when people say, "Oh, it's not realistic." And yes, I'm stealing Brony's shtick from me. Hey,
Well-
it's not realistic to have same-sex relationships in a fantasy setting.
Oh,
And like, bruh, same-sex relationships happen and everywhere. Just because you're too bigoted to see it doesn't mean it's not realistic.
they do go a little fucking hard on the ship, even for a guy like me in that last season. They do go a little hard on the shipping, but no, it's built pretty good. The villains are magnificent assholes. They have a non-binary person who's just I have to keep myself from saying one or the other. Just a magnificent, just a monster. In a good, fun way.
Oh, good. Representation for me. Hella.
I'd say it's a non-binary Discord kind of, except a bit more. I'm trying. There's like a line in there, or something like that. Oh, whenever I try and make my, how did they say it? Something about like children crying or something, being hurt to keep myself from laughing, or it was something real weird, morbid, and fucked up that just came off the cuff. And I was like, I love the character, but I feel it's weird that a lot of people are like, this represents us. And I was like, they're cool. They're certainly cool, but I'm not sure that that's what you'd want to be represented by. In the same way, like, yeah, you could like Heath Ledger's Joker, but you shouldn't be like, this represents us.
To be fair, who the fuck says that Heath Ledger's Joker represents them outside of edgy teenage
You're right.
neckbeards? That, and also I'm not super stressed about fucking that character from She-Ra being the only representation, because if I can put my weeb hat on for a sec, in the latest season of Kamen Rider, they had a non-binary character that was crucial to the plot, got to fight, and didn't die. So it matched those three qualities for me of being good representation.
Well, we've completely derailed, and I just still felt like bullshitting.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But no, when if I happen to be in your area when I move out to Illinois, I'll definitely buy you a beer.
Oh, appreciate that. Rouge comes out towards the end of the next month, so we're actually meeting up with Ruza and his missus, or her missus.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to keep everybody's pronouns straight.
Well,
but
it was funny. We had Ruza in the call with freaking Gilded, and Ruza kept fucking up Gilded's gender. And Gilded's getting progressive angry now. You of all people, what do you mean?
I tried to just take it on the nose, mostly because as IRL I still have to go by he him, but I'm slowly removing he him from my online state just because I'm more comfortable with they them.
I actually just forgot until you started. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Derp.
That's cool. It's cool.
Well, I wasn't trying to give offense if I did fuck it up somewhere in there.
None taken.
Nice. Well, I think it's good enough. I'll probably have to go say hi to the missus before they have a meltdown. So I'm gonna hit stop.